It has been nearly 6 years since a Richmond woman disappeared, and her family continues to search for answers.
Tonight, crime insider John Burkett, in partnership with the Reopen the Case Foundation, spoke with Keeshae Jacobs' mother about the exhausting and emotional mission to find her daughter.
For nearly 6 years, a Richmond mom has awakened to wonder if this is the day she finds out what happened to her only daughter. Keeshae Jacobs disappeared in late September 2016. Since, her mom has been on an exhausting and emotional mission to find out where she is.
I'd have had like so many people coming to me, Miss Jacobs, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be able to make it through my situation. I look at you, you inspire me. I was like, y'all just don't know what goes on behind my doors. The days I cry, the days that I can't get out, I don't want to get up out of bed, but there's always something in the back of my head be like, you gotta get up. And if Keeshae, if you can hear me, I love you with all my heart and soul. And mommy misses you, and I'm never giving up, baby. Keeshae was dropped off here by one of her friends about September the 26th.
Keeshae Jacobs, she was 21 years old at the time of her disappearance. I specifically remember mom telling me that her daughter would not run away, even though police had said, well, she's an adult, she can go and come as she pleases. She was very worried about her daughter and thought something had happened to her.
So Wednesday came. That evening, I'm sitting in my living room with my son and a couple of my friends, and I get a knock on the door. It's Keeshae friends. The guy DeMarcus who dropped her off at the house. On Broad Street. And a couple other friends. So I'd say it was like 5 or 6 of them. Then they proceeded to tell me that, hey, we went to the house that we dropped Keeshae off at. And the guy said that she wasn't there. I was like, so you did what? What house is this? So I was very upset and was like, take me to this house. So I made them show me exactly where this house was, which was like maybe a few hours after they had already been to this home. So I was furious because that guy could have had enough time to do anything he wanted to do with my daughter by the time we got here. The person that was here answered the door, and he said, yeah, he knew Keeshae, but he knew Keeshae through one of her friends. He said he saw her, first he said it was at 5 o'clock. I told him that wasn't right. Then he changed it to 5:30, and then he changed it to 6. And then I proceeded to call the police to let them know that his story wasn't adding up, and this was the last known place that my daughter was seen.
In our reporting over the last 6 years, there has been a person of interest in this case. However, we've never named him because he's never been charged with the disappearance of Keeshae. This certain individual back then when Keeshae disappeared had charges brought against him on the 19th of September of 2016. This is a week before Keeshae disappears, and those charges were abduction, rape, and strangulation. The rape charge was dropped, but he was later sentenced for the other 2 crimes.
The police arrived, but he had called another detective here.
I don't know who the detective is, but the very bizarre part of that is that this certain individual called a detective who was working on a case that he had with him and told that detective to come up to the location. That detective told everybody to stay outside, and he would go inside and look.
Once you go out the back door, it's a basement that's on the back porch. It leads down some steps. It's like underground, under the house pretty much. I found that out. And my first instinct was like, oh, this man could have had Keeshae down this basement the whole time when the police came to look, or when that detective walked through the house, and nobody would ever heard him because it is so far in the house. It's like nobody would have known she was there.
Has police shared any evidence whatsoever from that case that we know?
They haven't shared much as far as evidence. We have learned through the years some of the stuff they've collected, but they've asked us not to leak it out there because obviously it could ruin their case. Like, I drove by 3 days straight and forensics was there. So that's what I do remember of the case, that you go up there and the forensic van was parked out front and they were doing their thing.
This is the hardest thing I ever had to do in my life. I just want my baby to come home, and if you see anything or think you've seen her, please call so she she could be okay. I can't do no more. I can't do no more.
To me, I feel like the proper stuff with the police department wasn't done from the beginning when I reported Keeshae missing, because it took them a whole week before that they even took any interest or tried to do anything with Keeshae's case.
A lot of people in the community come forward, not only in Richmond, but throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've had sightings as far as Victoria, Virginia.
Breaking news about the disappearance of Keeshae Jacobs. Richmond police say after 14 months of intense investigation, they believe foul play is involved.
In the years past, I've grown to know Toni, Keeshae's mom. This woman has been through a lot. I remember when this first started happening, and Toni would tell me about the mysterious Facebook and social media messages she would get.
People put Keeshae's face on a Muslim girl and said the Muslims have her. I done had people call me playing on the phone saying, Mom, come get me. But then I realized a lot of it was people playing cruel jokes on me.
You know, Keeshae disappeared in September of 2016. Her son was murdered at the Motel 6 on Midlothian Turnpike months later.
I'll never get to tell my son I love him again, and I'll never get to hear it again. And I'm just praying Keeshae comes home so I can tell her I love her.
The guy that was serving time for her son's death, the killer in her son's case, is already out and about. He's already served his time and he's out. So obviously that's bothersome for her, and it would feel really good if we can get her some justice for this case.
I don't believe I completely mourned my son's death. I haven't. I can't, because I'm scared it's going to take me to a place that I won't be able to come back from and be able to do what I need to do to still fight for Keeshae, because I have to keep fighting for her. I just need somebody to put themselves in my shoes. What would you do if this was your loved one? Because there's no way anybody can just disappear and nobody sees nothing or knows nothing.
Former RPD Chief Alfred Durham deemed Keeshae's disappearance foul play about 14 months after September 26, 2016. Since, the case has changed detectives' hands at least twice. If you have information on Keeshae's whereabouts, call 833-RTCF-NVA or submit info via email at tips@reopenthecase.org.